Hey there, friend. You ready to melt your brain a little before bed? No, seriously, picture this. You've just built a time machine. Congrats, genius. You're buzzing with excitement, right? You set the dial to, let's say, 1985. Hit the big red button. Whoosh, you're gone. But here's the thing. You get there, you're vibing in the past, and oops, you accidentally step on a butterfly. Or maybe you bump into your grandpa before he meets your grandma. Whatever. Suddenly, poof, you start fading away like Marty McFly in that old photo. But wait, if you never existed, who the heck went back in time? Yeah, that's the grandfather paradox. And honestly, my head hurts just thinking about it. But here's the deal. Tonight, we're not solving it. We're not cramming for a test. We're just wandering, letting our brains tiptoe into the weird. So get cozy. No rush, no pressure. We're gonna unpack where this idea even came from, peek at what science thinks might happen, and maybe ask if free will is even real. But don't worry, we'll keep it chill. Like, what if over a cup of tea? Oh, and by the way, this paradox, it's older than your grandma's vinyl collection. Turns out, humans have been torturing themselves with this question for centuries. But where did it all start? Well, that's a story for next. For now, just let that paradox swirl in your head. Because trust me, it gets weirder. So, remember how I said this paradox is older than your grandma's vinyl? Let's rewind. Way before Back to the Future had us all stressing about Marty's parents kissing. People were already losing sleep over time travel. Let's set the scene, 1943. World War II is raging, but in a quiet corner of France, a sci-fi writer named René Barjavel drops a book called Le Voyageur Imprudent, The Imprudent Traveler. And boom, the grandfather paradox is born. Well, named, at least. Because Barjavel's hero does the unthinkable. He goes back in time, kills his own grandpa, and surprise, vanishes. But hold up, humans have been obsessed with time loops way before that. Ancient myths, check. Hindu stories where time's a circle. Yep. Even Shakespeare messed with fate in Macbeth, though. Macbeth didn't have a DeLorean. Fast forward to 1895. H.G. Wells publishes The Time Machine, and suddenly, time travel's not just magic or gods, it's science. Sort of. Wells never tackled the paradox, though. He was too busy inventing dystopian futures and Morlocks. Then came the 1980s. Back to the Future made paradoxes pop culture. Marty's mom crushing on him. Iconic. But here's the kicker. Scientists and philosophers were already screaming into their notebooks. See, Einstein's relativity had just blown open the door for actual time travel math. Suddenly, geniuses like Kurt Gödel were arguing that if time is flexible, maybe you could loop back and break everything. But here's the funniest part. Nobody agrees. Philosophers debate this stuff like it's a Twitter thread about pineapple on pizza. Scientists throw equations at it. And Hollywood, they just make Robert Downey Jr. fight a time war. So yeah, the grandfather paradox isn't just a sci-fi trope. It's a centuries-old brain itch that won't go away. But here's what's wild. Even after all that, we still don't know. How does the paradox actually work? Like, step by step. Is it a glitch in reality? Or is the universe just trolling us? Stick around. We're about to break it down. But first, let me hit pause. Because honestly, my brain needs a sec. All right, let's hit pause on the history lesson and actually unpack this paradox. No fancy words, no equations, just you, me, and a hypothetical time machine. Ready? So here's the setup. You go back in time. Let's say you're feeling petty and decide to stop your parents from ever meeting. Why? Maybe they grounded you once for eating all the ice cream. Whatever, you succeed. Poof, they never fall in love. Poof, you're never born. But wait, if you were never born, how did you go back in time to ruin their relationship? It's like trying to bake a cake, but eating all the flour first. Or playing a video game, deleting your save file, but still expecting to respawn. The logic just implodes. Here's the thing. This isn't just about you disappearing. It's about cause and effect throwing a tantrum. Normally, cause A leads to effect B. You drop a glass. It shatters. Easy. But time travel, it turns that into a Möbius strip of nonsense. Cause A, you time traveling, leads to effect B, you erasing yourself, which undoes cause A. So, what's left? Philosophers call this a self-referential paradox. I call it a cosmic gotcha. Because the universe seems to be saying, "Nice try, buddy. Now sit down." But here's where it gets even weirder. Let's say you don't disappear. Let's say you change the past, but you're still here. How? Maybe the universe glitches. Maybe it splits into two timelines. Or maybe you're stuck in a loop, reliving the same paradox over and over like that time you kept rewinding Hamilton to figure out who shot first. Ha ha ha. So, is the grandfather paradox a death sentence for time travelers? Or is there a secret loophole? Well, turns out science has some wild ideas. Like, what if time is just chill about it? Or what if every decision you make spawns a new universe? Yeah, we're diving into that next. But first, take a breath. Maybe grab a snack. Because this is where physics starts feeling like fan fiction. Okay, so we've got this paradox that feels like a logic grenade. But science isn't just sitting there crying into its lab coat. Oh no, it's got theories. Wild, mind-bending theories. Let's dive in. First up, Einstein, the guy who basically said, time, yeah, it's not a strict teacher, it's more like a stretchy pair of sweatpants. His theory of relativity says time isn't rigid. It warps around massive objects like black holes and speeds up or slows down depending on how fast you're moving. So, if you're orbiting a black hole at near light speed, you could age slower than everyone back home. Come back to Earth, and boom, it's 200 years later. Your dog, a statue in the park, your crush, dust. But here's the kicker. Relativity technically allows time travel to the future. The past, that's trickier. Enter quantum mechanics, the realm where particles are in two places at once. Cats are both dead and alive, and maybe time isn't a straight line. Some physicists think every decision you make splits reality into infinite parallel universes. You go back in time, step on a butterfly. Congrats, you just created a new timeline where that butterfly's death is someone else's problem. You're fine. Your original universe, also fine. It's like a cosmic undo button. This is the many worlds theory. And honestly, it's the closest thing we've got to a paradox loophole. No vanishing act, just infinite versions of you living infinite versions of the story. But wait, not all scientists are on board. Some say, nah, the universe hates drama. They argue time travel to the past would only work if it's self-consistent. Like, you can't kill your grandpa because you didn't. The universe would somehow stop you. A gun jams. You trip. Your grandpa's weirdly into martial arts. Whatever. So, science's answer to the paradox. Maybe it's all possible. Maybe it's all impossible. Here's a bunch of math. Good luck. Frustrating. Absolutely. But also kinda beautiful. Because if time is this flexible, mysterious thing, maybe we're all just along for the ride. But here's the real question. Could we actually build a time machine? Or is this all just late-night Wikipedia spiraling? All right, let's cut to the chase. We've talked about black holes, parallel universes, and grandpas who know karate. But can we actually build a time machine? Like, for real? Let's get into it. First off, wormholes. Einstein's math says these cosmic shortcuts could exist. Imagine spacetime as a bedsheet. Fold it, punch a hole through the folds, and bam, you've got a tunnel connecting two distant points. Or two different times. Problem is, wormholes, if they exist, are probably microscopic, unstable, and require exotic matter stuff with negative energy to hold them open. Exotic matter isn't exactly on Amazon Prime. Next up, cosmic strings. These are hypothetical, spaghetti thin defects in spacetime left over from the Big Bang. If two of them zipped past each other at near light speed, theory says they could warp time into a loop. You de-circle the strings like a Mario Kart track and end up in the past. But finding cosmic strings, harder than finding a quiet coffee shop on a Monday morning. Oh, and black holes. If you orbit one at just the right speed, time dilation could fling you into the future. But going backward, that's like trying to unbake a cake. You'd need a closed time-like curve, a path through space-time that loops back on itself. The catch: you might need infinite energy or a physics-breaking cheat code. Now, let's talk pop culture. Back to the Future's DeLorean needs 1.21 gigawatts and a lightning bolt. Doctor Who's TARDIS, bigger on the inside, runs on timey-wimey stuff. But real-world time machines, they're less stainless steel, more spaghetti equations. Here's the kicker. Even if we could build one, the universe might just say nope. The Novikov self-consistency principle claims time travel is possible, but only if you can't change the past. Every action you take already happened. So if you go back to stop JFK's assassination, guess what? You were always there, hiding in the grassy knoll, tripping over your shoelaces. History stays intact. But let's get existential. If time travel is possible, does that mean our future is already written? Are we just acting out a script? Or does every choice we make now ripple into infinite realities? Honestly, we don't know. But here's the fun part. Not knowing is where the magic happens. Because if time is this weird, twisty, unpredictable beast, maybe anything is possible. Up next, we're diving into the multiverse, timelines, and why reality might just be a choose-your-own-adventure book with infinite endings. But first, imagine this. What if you're already a time traveler? You're moving forward 1 second per second. Maybe that's the only machine we'll ever need. Okay, let's get real weird. What if the grandfather paradox isn't a paradox at all? What if reality's playing a game we don't even know the rules to? You're still here, still binge-watching Netflix. Imagine this. Every time you make a choice, coffee or tea, left or right, text or don't text, the universe splits. One version of you sips coffee, late for work. Another chugs tea, discovers a hidden talent for yodeling. This is the many worlds theory. And if it's true, time travel isn't a paradox. It's a multiverse road trip. You kill Grandpa, cool. But that's just Tuesday in universe 4567. Meanwhile, your universe is untouched. But wait, what if the universe hates plot holes? Enter Novikov's self-consistency principle. It's like the universe's bouncer. You can time travel, but you can't change squat. Go back to stop JFK's assassination. Turns out, you've always been the guy who tripped and dropped the rifle. History stays intact. No paradox, just fate with extra steps. Here's the kicker. Some scientists think both ideas could be true. Time is a choose-your-own-adventure book with infinite endings and a script you can't rewrite. Confused? Same. But that's the fun part. Reality might be both flexible and rigid, like a trampoline made of concrete. And what if we're the weird ones? Maybe in 4D spacetime, we're just ants trying to understand a Picasso painting. Time isn't linear. Past, present, future all happening at once. Your birth, your first heartbreak, your last breath, they're already out there, looping like a song on repeat. Does that freak you out? Or is it weirdly comforting? Like maybe every mistake, every what if exists somewhere else. You're always okay. You're always a disaster. You're every version all at once. But hold on, if reality's this wild, what does it mean for us? Are we just puppets of physics? Or is there still room for, free will? We're diving into that existential abyss next. But for now, just marinate in this. You might be one version of infinite use. And somewhere out there, another you is listening to this exact sentence. But in a universe where I have a British accent. All right, let's get existential. But make it fun. So, if time is this tangled web of possibilities, or a script we're all just acting out, what does that mean for us? Are we the authors of our lives? Or are we just flipping pages in a book that's already written? Think about it. If Novikov's right and you can't change the past, does that mean your future is set in stone? Like, you'll always lose one sock in the laundry. You'll always accidentally text your ex at 2 a.m. Hey, you up? Is that freedom? Or are we just puppets with really good Wi-Fi? But then, if the many worlds theory is true, and every choice spawns a new universe, does any of it matter? If there's a version of you out there who became a rock star, and another who's a goat farmer in Norway, are you still special? Or are you just one drop in an infinite ocean of yous? Look, I'm not here to ruin your night. Let's turn this into a game. Imagine you could time travel. What would you change? Go back to middle school and tell your awkward self it gets better. Invest in Bitcoin in 2010. Or just watch. See how your parents met, or how the pyramids were built. But here's the catch. If you change anything, do you erase the person you are now? Or do you just become a new branch on the cosmic tree? And if you don't change anything, is that free will or fear? Here's the thing, we don't know. And maybe not knowing is the point. Maybe the mystery is what makes life life. The thrill of choices, the ache of what ifs. If we knew how it all ended, would we even hit play? But hey, if you're feeling tiny in the grand scheme of spacetime, remember this. You're here. You're now. And right now, you're imagining a version of yourself who's brave enough to time travel or smart enough not to. Speaking of imagination, you know who loves playing with these ideas? Sci-fi writers. Next up, how Hollywood turns existential crises into blockbusters. Spoiler, they're way more chill about paradoxes than we are. All right, let's lighten the mood. You know who loves time paradoxes? Hollywood. And honestly, they're out here having way more fun than physicists. Take Interstellar. That movie's like Einstein's love letter time dilation, fifth-dimensional bookshelves, Matthew McConaughey crying in zero gravity. It's science with a side of tears. Then there's Primer. Ever seen it? No. Cool, because nobody understands it. It's the Sudoku of time travel, tiny budgets, endless flowcharts, and dialogue sharper than a quantum physicist's pencil. But let's be real, Back to the Future is the GOAT. Marty McFly accidentally cock-blocking his mom. Iconic. But here's the thing. The movie's logic is Swiss cheese. If Marty's fading from existence, how does he still remember his siblings? Pauses. Don't overthink it. The rule book is whatever's coolest for the plot. Then there's Tenet. Christopher Nolan's like, time isn't a line, it's a pretzel. Also, let's reverse explode a building. It's spectacular nonsense. And Doctor Who? The doctor's out here sipping tea while rewriting timelines like it's a Twitter bio. Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey, isn't science. It's a magic spell for writers who DGAF. But here's the secret. Sci-fi isn't trying to be accurate. It's holding up a funhouse mirror to our existential dread. What if you could undo your cringiest moment? What if your dad was your wingman? It's therapy with time machines. Some get it weirdly right, though. Steins Gate, anime where sending texts to the past literally breaks reality. Dark, a German series where everyone's their own grandpa. And Rick and Morty, which is just hold my beer physics. But here's the truth. Hollywood's best trick isn't time travel, it's making us care while they break all the rules. Paradoxes. PSSH. Just add a sad piano cover and call it art. So, after all this, do we know anything? Is time travel possible? Are we puppets or pioneers? Well, that's the real cliffhanger. But hey, if sci-fi's taught us anything, it's that the journey's better than the answer. Now, let's wrap this up and see if we can blow your mind one last time. All right, friend. We've time traveled through centuries of philosophy, sci-fi, and enough existential dread to fuel a YA novel. But here's the million-dollar question. Do we actually know anything? Let S be real. The grandfather paradox isn't a riddle to solve. It's a mirror. It reflects how little we understand time and how much we crave to control it. Science says maybe. Philosophy says depends. Hollywood says just add explosions. But here's the kicker. Maybe the answer isn't the point. Maybe the paradox is here to humble us, to remind us that time isn't a spreadsheet, it's a poem. Messy, mysterious, and full of contradictions. Think about it. If time travel were possible, would we even recognize it? What if every deja vu is a glitch? What if every lucky break is future, you nudging the dice? Or what if we're all just hurtling forward, making it up as we go? And that's the adventure. Scientists might spend lifetimes debating wormholes. Writers might spin tales of parallel worlds. But you're here now, in a universe where you're listening to this. And honestly, that's kind of magic. So, do we have answers? Nah, but we've got something better: questions. And maybe that's enough. Because the moment we stop wondering, stop imagining, time becomes a clock. And who wants that? But until then, here's my take. Time isn't a line, a loop, or a pretzel. It's a conversation between us and the universe, between what we know and what we dream. So keep asking, keep wandering, and who knows, maybe one day you'll bump into a future version of yourself and you'll finally get the last word. Let's let the mystery linger. After all, the best stories don't tie up with a bow. They leave you wondering. So, wonder with me one last time. What if time travel isn't out there? What if it's already here in every choice, every memory, every second slipping through our fingers? Sweet dreams, time traveler. The next chapter's yours.